Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to move the following motion. Being the hearing and determination on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. That whereas, pursuant to Article 181 and of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, on Saturday, 29th February 2024, the Kisii County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, and further, whereas by a letter dated 1st March 2024 and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate, on Saturday, 2nd March 2024, the Speaker of the Kisii County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval, the motion by the County Assembly, and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. Further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order Number 80 of the Senate heard and the County Assembly on the grounds for the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. And further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act and Standing Order Number 80, the Senate also heard the Honorable Dr. Robert Monda on the grounds for his proposed removal from office by impeachment as the Deputy Governor of Kisii. Now, therefore, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order Number 80, the Senate resolves to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii, on the following charges. 1, gross violation of the Constitution of Kenya or any other law. 2, abuse of office. 3, gross misconduct. And 4, crimes under the national law. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, may I pick my moving notes? Mr. Speaker, as I move this very important motion, I want to start, Mr. Speaker, by saying that today is a day at the bottom of my heart, to the very best of the clarity of my mind, I'm offered a day to celebrate the integrity of the women of the Republic of Kenya. Why? Because, Mr. Speaker, of 2 women in Kisii, a woman by the name of Lucy Wahito and a woman by the name of Gladys Aminga. I'm celebrating these women in my heart, Mr. Speaker, because I've looked at the evidence, both in affidavit and what they said in the County Assembly when the matter was there. And I think these are women of integrity. The Deputy Governor has spent a lot of energy to twist evidence surrounding the affidavits of these 2 women, and Mr. Speaker, they have stood their ground. Woman by the name of Lucy Wahito. After the Deputy Governor received the said 800,000 shillings, he quickly transferred that money to Lucy. And Lucy was brave enough to ask the deputy governor, what is this money for? And the deputy governor told her, and I'm reading from her affidavit, this is money in line with what we had discussed. I'll not go into details because we don't have time. And the woman asked him to take it back. He did not. She sent back the money. That is integrity. What we were told in English, that integrity means doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. Mr. Speaker, Gladys Aminga was also looped in. This time, to my mind, the deputy governor was desperate. Now that the money had come back, he needed to send the money somewhere. So he took the money to Lucy and connected it to some other requests of nephews and whatnot who wanted to be given a through pass to be given business at the docket of Gladys. Gladys stood her ground, and if you go through the evidence, Mr. Speaker, she has written in her own handwriting, trying to clarify to us what compelled her. That, Mr. Speaker, is integrity. My second point, Mr. Speaker, is I want to acknowledge through this moving this motion, for the first time in the many years I have presided over proceedings of impeachment, I have seen humility in legal teams. The legal team from the county assembly has been very humble. They have not tried to be verbose. They have not tried to lecture us. They have not tried to show us how they are learned friends and what have you. They have pursued evidence. I congratulate the legal team of the county assembly. Mr. Speaker, I'm so proud that we have sat on a matter that the defendant had none other than Katwa Kigen. This is one of the most distinguished lawyers, not just in this country, but in the region and internationally. I had never known that I would have an opportunity to listen to Katwa Kigen, none other than the brain that addressed the International Criminal Court. Katwa is a great man. And Katwa, that humility has completely changed my understanding of the legal profession. My third point, Mr. Speaker, is academic, as I support the removal of the governor, the deputy governor. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, in the history of democracy, the greatest senator who ever lived in the United States of America was Senator William Wilbright. He was so great that he wrote and spoke to the story of power. He has got a beautiful book. I'll invite you, if you have time, acquaint yourself with it if you haven't. The book, Mr. Speaker, is called The Arrogance of Power. William Fulbright spoke about the arrogance of power. What you saw the deputy governor of Kisii doing to his own blood brother, Reuben Monda, collecting enforcement officers and doing to this brother of his, the brother who suckled the same breast with him, is the true definition of the arrogance of power. Once you have power, you can do many things, including what Deputy Governor of Kisii did. My fourth point, Mr. Speaker, is at my professional level. In behavioral science, we have something called split personality, which in medical science we refer to as dissociative identity disorder. This is a disorder, Mr. Speaker, whereby a normal person like all of us creates two personalities, personality A and personality B. And they choose to live without knowing that they're abnormal in one personality to serve them at moment X and another personality to serve them at moment B. This disorder is what I witnessed when witness Joseph Misato? Yes? Misati. When Joseph Misati was speaking, it was classical medical description of this disorder. Here is a man who is a very poor polygamist. The guy, his wife died many years ago. And she left him with beautiful children, one of them Dennis. So, Misati, who says that he loves Dennis, when he's in personality A, he's with Dennis in his mind, with Dennis' biological brother, and the late wife. Exit personality A, he goes to B, the guy then goes to the personality of the second wife, with the joint business account, with her children, who, by the way, some of us do research before we debate in this house, who, by the way, has children who Joseph Misati has already put in placement. It is that personality B that has been in this house, that was telling this house that my son is a liar, my son, ABCD, I will not waste your time by repeating his words. It is so unfortunate. That's why this world needs doctors. My fifth point, and I'm finishing, Mr. Speaker, sir. My fifth point, Mr. Speaker, is my desire to persuade you that let us take Deputy Governor Monda home. It is on the doctrine of law, and this is where I leave it to the lawyers. The doctrine of law, you either do it because you have proved it beyond reasonable doubt, or you have proved it on the balance of probability. On the balance of probability of this doctrine, we would be lying to the country, we would be lying to the people of Kisii, that on that balance, A, the boy did not sell his business. He has given us evidence. We would be lying to the country, dear colleagues, that the boy did not send 800,000 in the manner he did. On the balance of probability, Mr. Speaker, sir, we would be lying if we discounted the evidence by the two great women that I've praised at the beginning. My final point, Mr. Speaker, which is point number 6, is on the borderline of philosophy of religion. I am not a very religious person because I don't understand the Bible, but I believe in God. And on that philosophy, Mr. Speaker, many of you have heard that God made man, and man made money, and money made man mad. The madness you are seeing in this house today, Mr. Speaker, where a father can go against his own son, and a deputy governor can go against his brother, is the madness that money has created in society. I move and I request the distinguished senator from Migori to second my motion for removal of Robert Monda. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think, Mr. Speaker, this is a very important moment in our country. And it's not by sheer coincidence that the mover of the motion for today, Mr. Speaker, is a ranking member of this House. And not only a ranking member, but also my senior in many ways. My senior in Parliament, my senior in life, my senior in wisdom. And also my senior in other ways.
Honorable Senator. Order. Proceed, Senator Eddy.
And Mr. Speaker, I happen to be also among the youngest senators in this House. So we are seeing some sanity in the Senate in the pursuit of justice, where the old and the young can speak on a matter that affects our country with the same passion and the same magnitude. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, I sat in this House, and as you know, we also have our lobby on the other side where if you're tired, you can keep on watching these debates. So is today, Mr. Speaker. And always in the quest of justice, so as to be impartial, so that you can be fair, and so as you can ensure that as an arbiter of law, you are able to make proper judgment, Mr. Speaker, it is always good to listen. Listen more than you say. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, in these last 2 days, I've tried as much as possible not to come to this House with point of orders, not to come to this House to ask questions, but go with the mantra that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can hear more, and also 2 eyes so that we can read more, and 1 mouth so that we can speak less when we have absorbed more. And I've listened in this House, Mr. Speaker. As a young man, I don't think that today's judgment is on the Deputy Governor of Kisii. As a young man in this country, I think that today's judgment is on us senators. And in my seconding this motion, Mr. Speaker, I want just to ask one question. You don't need to answer me, because we are in the quest for justice, and quest for justice cannot be there without truth. And sometimes truth is about self-examination, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask my brother Lelegwe. I want to ask my brother Matthew. I want to ask my sister Tabitha. I want to ask my sister Gloria. I want to ask my brother Kinywa, my brother Honorable Morgan here, my brother Senator Ledama, all of these brothers of mine and sisters who are here. Tell me, if you reflect, that in the history of your life, in this country, if you have not met a relative, young from school, well qualified, and desperate for a job, who has sought for a job and has not been asked for bribe. It's a self-reflection we must do. We are faced with a case here that we must determine the future of this country. I can bet that if you self-examine, if you don't have a relative, you have got a neighbor. If you don't have a neighbor, you have got a village mate. If you don't have a village mate, you have got a friend who has sought for a job, desperate for it, qualified for it, and indeed willing to work at that job that is asked for, bribes, or some sort of tokens by people who own power, and in some cases, they lose big. I was a little bit hurt as a young person, because that experience, I do know that even among young people who are today rioting in the streets in the name of medical interns, I know a number of them that have reached out to us senators and told us, I'm trying to look for this job, but I'm being asked for 300,000. I'm being asked for 100,000. I can't get this job. And then, Mr. Speaker, when the defense appeared in this house, they call a young man who has lost money in that quest of desperation and destituteness. They say that's a gambler. And as a gambler, we as a house must never listen to that gambler. As if one, gambling is a sin in this country and is not in law in this country. And number two, because you are gambling, even if you are gambling for Arsenal, sometimes they say, Mr. Speaker, I want to quote, nawekelea Man U kichwa. For all those people who put money for Man U, if they say anything before the law, then they are not serious. Mr. Speaker, as I finish, if you look at the DG's response, volume 1, page 65 to 66, there's a number that drew my attention. In the cooperative bank account of the key witness from the DG side, the father of Dennis. And that number is 07, I want to mention it. I'll just say 0702 2 000, then the rest you can check if you've got those files. I did a simple search. If you look at that number, it belongs to the accused. And a number of times, the same person who is saying that they had given the wife money to go and give the son to give to the deputy governor, in a number of times has sent money directly from that cooperative bank account to the same person, not once, not twice, but many times. It behooves you to ask, what necessitated that this time round, the money had to come from the same account, go to the wife, and then go to the son, so that it can reach the same number that is in that file. As I finish, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to judge the governor on the basis of lies. But today's judgment is for the young people in this country who try to tarmac so much in this country to look for jobs, and because people in power want money from them, we must show as a house that we can stand united on a bipartisan manner and stop this menace of corruption that denies young people opportunities. And I wish to urge this house that the act of sending the deputy governor of Kisii home is not malice. Is about rethinking our future generation and how people in positions can be able to ensure that there is equal opportunities and equal chances for all. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I support the motion, and I thank you, and I hope that the dear senators here will speak not to the deputy governor, not to the county assembly of Kisii, but to themselves as they reimagine and they rethink the idea of equal opportunities to all. I thank all, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Senator Boni, you need to take your seat. Now, honorable senators, I will now proceed to propose the question. That whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, on Thursday, the 29th of February 2024, the Kisii County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. And further, whereas by a letter dated the 1st of March 2024 and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Saturday, 2nd March 2024, the Speaker of the Kisii County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. Further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80 of the Senate heard the County Assembly on the grounds for the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. And further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act, and Standing Order number 80, the Senate also heard the Honorable Dr. Robert Monda on the grounds, order Senator Chimera, on the grounds for his proposed removal from office by impeachment as the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. Now, therefore, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80, the Senate resolves to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, on the following charges. Charge number 1, gross violation of the Constitution or any other law. Charge number 2, abuse of office. And charge number 3, gross misconduct. Charge number 4, crimes under national law. Now, honorable senators, we will proceed with debate. Yes, what is your point of order, Senator for Nyandarua?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 111 on limitation of debate, Honorable Speaker. Looking at the time now, is 20 minutes to 11, and we have to dispense this matter off by midnight, Honorable Speaker, and that the House is now full House, and I'm sure so many interests and so many senators would want to speak to this matter, Honorable Speaker. It will then be difficult for us to speak for the 15 minutes that we should be able to speak to this motion, Honorable Speaker. So I'd want to indulge our colleagues that we allow each, or those that will be allowed to speak, or those that will catch the eye of the Speaker, that will speak for at most 3 minutes, Honorable Speaker. 3 minutes, Honorable Speaker. And, well, since I'm the one that sorted
Order, honorable senators.
Now
Order. We will let the senator be heard in silence. He is moving. He must be heard in silence.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I propose that we limit debate to 3 minutes, Honorable Speaker, and I invite my brother, the Senator for Homa Bay, Moses Otieno Kajwang, to second.
Was that the position? Huh? Mr. Speaker, I second with variation of 5 minutes.
You either second the motion as moved. Order, honorable senators. Senator Chimera. You know, Senator Chimera, you don't have to shout at each other. Senator Kajwang, you can only second the motion as moved. You
Mr. Speaker, I do not second.
So then, order, honorable senators. Senator for Nyandarua, you may seek to get another seconder.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I invite the Senator for Meru, Honorable Kaduri Murungi, to second.
Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, with all the reasons that have been given by my colleague here, Senator Medu, I second that 3 minutes are okay to move the motion.
Now, honorable senators, we need not be drawn to a debate on that motion. On the motion as moved by the Senator for Nyandarua and second. Order! Senator Mundigi. It'll be, and voting shall be by voice. And therefore, honorable senators, with your concurrence, may I proceed to put the question? That contribution to this motion be limited to 3 minutes for a senator speaking. Will as many as of Senator Gloria I really don't want to ask members to leave the chamber, if only we can behave in an orderly fashion. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. Senator Now, honorable senators, I have received requests from colleagues who are not present today to be allowed to vote online. And therefore, when we get to that level, we will have a hybrid. We'll adopt a hybrid way of voting. For those who are here, you'll vote electronically, and then we'll allow your colleagues who are not present to vote by voice, wherever they are. Senator Crystal Asige.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, in 1995, there was a very poignant piece of wisdom that was birthed into the earth by an unsuspecting group of young women, black, and also musicians, Mr. Speaker. They go by the name of T-Boz, Left Eye, and Chili, also known as TLC. Mr. Speaker, in this piece of wisdom that they gave us, they cautioned society. And they said back in 1995, almost 30 years ago, don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I know that you're gonna have it your way or nothing at all, but I think you're moving too fast. Mr. Speaker, TLC, in their wisdom, foresaw moments like this, whereby sometimes we see a split in our world between two types of people: those who don't know how to start making money and those who don't know when to stop making money. Mr. Speaker, when we saw this case for the first time, I thought first to myself, how can it be that a pot is calling a kettle black? Two criminals, seemingly, are coming up before the Senate. But it took me to the Evidence Act, Section 141, which talks about accomplices and says, an accomplice shall be a competent witness against an accused person under conviction shall not be illegal merely because it proceeds upon the uncorroborated evidence of an accomplice. Mr. Speaker, to me, this meant that Dennis and his evidence was credible and can be used against the DG as per the Section 141 of the Evidence Act. However, Mr. Speaker, he can still be prosecuted after this in a separate court on charges of bribery. Mr. Speaker, the reason I lay this before this House is because there are many things that are contrary to each other, many differing opinions, and many issues that
Honorable Asige, you have 30 seconds to go.
Mr. Speaker, let me just finish by saying that this should be a lesson to all. It should be a lesson to all about money and how money can tear through families and how money can rip through communities and how even what happens behind closed doors and in communities that is not solved for can and unfortunately has landed on this national platform in front of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, and that is extremely unfortunate. I would not wish to see the time where my own parents, those who gave birth to me, nurtured me, and
Your time is up, Senator Kisii. Senator Karungo.
Start counting now. Mr. Speaker, I'm a drafter of the impeachment bill. So I believe in impeachment. But I believe in it when the processes are good, they provide the rights of the accused. And I'm set to appear before the Jailer Committee on Monday so that I can give these processes of impeachment, Mr. Speaker. So the question tonight, to impeach or not to impeach? That is the question. And I'm asking everybody here today, when somebody goes home, they go home for good. The Constitution says under Article 75, you cannot run for any seat. But then I ask myself, if a youth is bribing 800,000 to get a job that is worth 120,000 after taxes, to impeach or not to impeach? When a brother stands against a brother whom they live in their father's home, to impeach or not to impeach? Mr. Speaker, when a father stands against his son on the issue of somebody to be removed from his position in the effort of giving his son a position, to impeach or not to impeach? That is the question. Mr. Speaker, today we had a community that can bribe for 12,000 to get an advance of 10,000. To impeach or not to impeach? That is the question. I want to conclude, Mr. Speaker, as the senators and my friends, they make a decision today. I want to quote a senator from South Carolina who was there in 2003, Mr. Speaker, called Lindsey Graham, who said, impeachment is not about punishment. Impeachment is not about, impeachment is about cleansing the office. Impeachment is about restoring the honor and integrity to the office. Mr. Speaker, as a mover of the bill that calls for impeachment that are done thoroughly, I ask my honorable members today, as you cast your vote, just remember you too could be in the position of one Robert the Monda. I want everybody to remember that. And I want everybody to remember, as you cast your vote tonight, just remember there could be another Dennis who will come here, who will stand here against his father, then a brother against a brother. Then we even heard about the First Lady, although it was not canvassed, I don't know. But Mr. Speaker, as I stand here, I ask this whole Senate, let's restore the honor of this House. Let's restore.
Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia mswada wa kumbandua mamlakani Deputy Governor wa gatuzi la Kisii. Mheshimiwa Spika, kazi ambayo tumepewa kama maseneta ni kazi ambayo ni muhimu sana kitaifa, kwa sababu hii ndiyo njia ya pekee ambayo katiba inaruhusu kuhakikisha kwamba kuna sheria inafuatwa na watumishi wa serikali wale ambao wamechaguliwa, na vile vile wananchi wanapata matumaini kwamba iwapo muhusika atakuwa ametenda dhambi, iko taasisi ambayo inaweza kusimama na ikaweza kutoa hukumu
juu ya yule mtu aliyehusika. Mheshimiwa Spika, japokuwa tumekaa kama mahakama, lakini hii si mahakama kamili, kwa sababu baadhi ya masharti ambayo yanatumika mahakamani hayakuweza kutumika hapa leo na jana. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, jukumu ambalo tumepewa ni jukumu ambalo ni la kimahakama, na maamuzi yataamuliwa kulingana na kura nyingi. Kwa hivyo tunapopiga kura tuzingatie mambo yafuatayo. Kwanza ni kwa je, yale mashtaka yameweza kuthibitishwa. Na kuthibitishwa sio kwamba tunaangalia beyond reasonable doubt, yani kupendukia. Tunaangalia tu je, katika ushahidi ambao umetolewa iliwezekana kwamba Bwana Monda aliitisha hongo la Laki8. Katika ushahidi ambao umetolewa inawezekana kwamba Bwana Monda alipeleka askari 20 wa gatuzi la Kisii kuweza kumshika ndugu yake, ambaye ndugu yule aliwekwa korokoroni kwa muda wa karibu siku moja. Mheshimiwa Spika, haya ni masuala ambayo lazima sisi tuyazingatie wakati tunatoa uamuzi. Mheshimiwa Spika, nimefurahi kwamba baadhi ya mashahidi, na mashahidi hao Mheshimiwa Spika, mmoja ni Bilusi ambaye alitoa ushahidi wa kuregesha fedha Laki1 ambazo walikuwa wametumiwa na Bwana Monda, na Gladys. Mheshimiwa Spika, hii inaonyesha kwamba Wakenya bado tuko ambao wako Wakenya ambao bado wana imani na utendakazi wao. Mheshimiwa Spika, majuzi OCS mmoja nafikiri kutoka upande wa Isiolo aliweza kuregesha hongo kwa muhusika kwa sababu aliamini kwamba kuachilia jambazi ni makosa na akakataa hongo. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mashahidi wale ambao walikuwa hapa jana kuthibitisha kwamba pesa zilitumwa na zikaregeshwa wameweza kuthibitisha kwamba.
Senator Gloria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very sad day for Kisii County. And I happen to come from Kisii County. Mr. Speaker, our county is known for positive things, beautiful people, Mr. Speaker. As a matter of fact, our human resource from Kisii County is top-notch. Engineers, doctors, lawyers, you name it, Mr. Speaker. We are known to produce results, Mr. Speaker. So when I say this is a very, very sad day for Kisii County, I mean it, because it is the day that we have been subjected with so much negativity coming from Kisii County, Mr. Speaker. As I stand here, I want to tell my colleagues who have got, Mr. Speaker, we are nominated. So I might not have a vote today, but I have a voice. And Mr. Speaker, for me, it is very clear. Every single time we have had an impeachment motion here, we always say, where is the proof? Where is the evidence? Where is the fact? It is not about the story. It is about the proof and the evidence, Mr. Speaker. So when I looked at the transaction of 100,000 sent to a managing director so that they can give a job, Mr. Speaker, I was saddened because I knew that this is the sword that will bring down the deputy governor, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't have much to say. I just want to say this because I know there are senators here who are often known to sit on the fence, who are often known not to take a decision, Mr. Speaker. Today, I want to say to them and to others in the House,
what is your point
the
of order,
hottest places in hell, Mr.
Senator
Speaker.
Gloria Oroba, there's a point of order. Kindly yield. What is your point of order, Senator Mandago?
Mr. Speaker, I'm standing on Standing Order 105, Statement of Facts. Is it in order for Senator Gloria Oroba to impute improper motive that there are senators who sit in the fence in this House? The decision to vote or not to vote is on the individual senator of the House.
Senator Gloria, proceed to withdraw that statement.
Mr. Speaker, I withdraw and I profusely apologize.
Proceed.
However, I'd like to conclude by saying to people out there that the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, in times of great moral crisis, they maintain their neutrality. The evidence is there. Everything is there, Mr. Speaker. Let us take our responsibility seriously and make the right call. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Ledama.
Mr. Speaker, these last 2 days, to me, will remain to be the saddest days in the institution of a family in this Republic of Kenya, and particularly the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. It reminds me of 1998, when I was a student in America, and the former president of the United States of America, William Jefferson Clinton family, was the center of the investigation. Where I come from, Mr. Speaker, a family is supposed to be a strong bond that unites all its members, that provides security, that leads people. But, and very unfortunate, we have been invited to be able to come in between a family. I'm so sad, Mr. Speaker, because I've seen a father testifying against a son testifying against a father, and the father roping in the stepmother. Mr. Speaker, what example are we showing to the younger generation? I'm torn in between, Mr. Speaker. Although I believe that in certain circumstances, it is imperative to be able to separate between family ties and integrity. Mr. Speaker, today I'm torn between a hard place and a rock. I've been invited to try and make a decision, to try and argue that whatever was being shown here is a family that has gone bad, that requires prayers. I want to invite you, my brothers and sisters, for the integrity of the family, to vote consciously and to remember that in certain circumstances, to be able to preserve the rule of law, you have to make those hard choices. I pray for the community of Kenyans who live in Kisii, that when their sons and daughters retrieve back and go after this event today, they can be able to reflect on the institution of a family. It is imperative, Mr. Speaker. I conclude by saying, although I've witnessed something that I never thought I would witness in my life, as I sit there, I remember 1998. I'd hoped that I would never see that in the history of Kenya. But because I've been invited to sit, I'll make a conscious decision.
Senator Wambua.
So when that you turn.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 requires that public officers, public servants, state officers must bring honor and dignity to the nation and dignity to their offices. I will leave it to the conscience of the nation, Mr. Speaker, to judge whether or not the behavior and body language of the Deputy Governor of Kisii is fit for him to hold any public office. The Speaker, the Deputy Governor of Kisii has not just lied on oath and on record. He is at the center of a conspiracy to lie to the Senate for purposes of just exonerating himself from blame. Him and his co-conspirator must have a very dim view of the collective basic intelligence of the Senate. The Speaker, the easiest way out for the DG would have been to simply apologize to his brother. Simply fix the mess that he has put one Dennis and one Lucy in. We will not be here at midnight discussing his character. The Speaker, in the interest of time, I have to mention this. The key witness in defense of the DG has broken the hearts of millions of fathers and sons in the country. I want to take this opportunity as Speaker to assure my son Emmanuel that if I am ever to put him in any mess, I will stand with him. It is a shame for a father to put a son in trouble and take a position against his own son. This is not a trivial matter. This is a serious matter. We must fix the mess in Kisii, and the Speaker, for and on behalf of the great people of Kitui County, I will stand to be counted to fix the mess in Kisii County. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Nyutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to be very brief. Mr. Speaker, the allegation that poor parents and poor students in Kisii County are taken advantage of, Mr. Speaker, where they are required to give bribes in order for them to be awarded bursaries, Mr. Speaker, is not something peculiar with Kisii. This is something that is happening across the counties and across the constituencies, Mr. Speaker, where we have a very desperate students failing to secure a bursary, while some able people who can be able to produce bribes, Mr. Speaker, benefit from these bursaries. For that reason, Mr. Speaker, I think I will stand with the poor that seek bursaries but do not get them, because those that can influence get bursaries, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we all have siblings at home. Some of them may not be as endowed as we are, Mr. Speaker. We cannot, Mr. Speaker, I was touched by the matter of a brother cutting down some trees, Mr. Speaker. Probably he did. Probably he was not right. Probably they were not his trees. But what is the value of some trees, Mr. Speaker, to a person holding the seat of deputy governor? Somebody elected 2 times, a long-serving vet, Mr. Speaker. I think if I was in that position, I would have just let the matter go and, in fact, decided that he's my brother anyway. His problems are my problems, Mr. Speaker. So, but the triviality expressed in that particular instance, Mr. Speaker, and the show of might, many county enforcement officers, Mr. Speaker, and the police just to arrest one man in order for somebody to show that they have a lot of might, Mr. Speaker. And I think that is abuse of office. Mr. Speaker, one thing that also did not go down well with me is that somebody, even after taking a bribe of about 500,000 Kenya shillings or 800,000 Kenya shillings, Mr. Speaker, I may not want to say that it is good to share out the spoils, but how could the deputy governor extend to Lucy only 100,000, surely? Even if we were going to say that the bribery in this particular case was going to be allowed, 100,000 out of 800,000, Mr.
Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you.
Order. Honorable Senators, may
thank you very
Senator
much.
Matinga be heard in silence, please.
As I rise up, Mr. Speaker, I would want to pose a question to the House. What is the purpose of gaining the whole world and losing your soul? Mr. Speaker, sir, we listened, we watched, we walked along the evidence that was deduced in this House. Mr. Speaker, sir, we watched the father and son tear each other apart, Mr. Speaker. It was a painful experience, Mr. Speaker. And for those of us who fathers, who have daughters and sons, that we believe that we want to nurture them to become somebody in this world, I want to speak to all the youth in this country that indeed we're going to make things right so that you'll get opportunities regardless of where you've been born. Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand up here and tell the youth this country belongs to everybody who dares believe in himself. Mr. Speaker, sir, just after the last general elections, I was one of those who believed that the fact that the president and the deputy president come from humble background is indeed a proof that anybody who dares believe has the destiny in his hands. Mr. Speaker, sir, that shattered the glass ceiling. It broke the myth that this country can only belong to those who are born in families of who's who. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is my belief, and I want to walk with my head high, knowing that every youth in this country will have an opportunity. And my challenge to us all, Mr. Speaker, we must make it right. We must provide an opportunity, regardless of the community, of the family background, or where you've gone to school, or where you've been raised. Mr. Speaker, sir, for that alone, I want to urge all the senators, all the delegates in this House to vote in a way that they'll affirm the fact that anybody in this country, regardless of you can afford the 800,000 or not, you get an opportunity to move ahead and to make a good, decent living. Mr. Speaker, sir, what kind of leaders would we be if we are the ones who will be extorting bribes? 800,000, Mr. Speaker, sir. For some of us, it feels so painful because we know the pain of trying to get where we are, Mr. Speaker. And if we were not given the opportunity, Mr. Speaker, we will not be where we are. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, we would want to give that opportunity to anybody who would want to get there, regardless of where they come from. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I sit down, it is indeed the responsibility of this House to ensure that we inspire our youth, we give them hope, and we actually tell them this country belongs to you if you dare dream. Mr. Speaker, sir, moving forward, I think the Devolution Committee must get to work so that we never again witness the kind of unfolding that we witnessed, Mr. Speaker. It is very demeaning, it is very humiliating to watch parents and children tear each other apart. Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe with the...
Senator Hamida.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand here and I'm so saddened on this day. Mr. Speaker, we had a woman miscarried, a woman who has been looking for a baby for over 12 years, lost a child. Her dream was shattered. As a mental health champion, I'm wondering, where is justice? Where can they find justice, the family? It can only be gotten here. I know, Mr. Speaker, today, the two, Mr. Dennis and his wife, will find justice at the Senate. On behalf of the women senators in this House, I request my colleagues to vote wisely. I want to remind them, justice delayed is justice denied. That woman, where is her mental health? Where is she going to go? Has her dream been shattered? I request my colleagues, vote wisely. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tabitha Mutinda. Senator Tabitha Karanja. Order.
Order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Family is the backbone of society. If family is broken, is destroyed, we destroy the society. Today we witnessed the worst family division. For me, it's my first time I've seen a dad witnessing against a son. I know a son can sell his dad, but a dad can never sell his son. The biggest mistake that Deputy Governor made, he may have made many other mistakes, but the biggest one he'll have made in his life, it is to bring a father to witness against the dad. I'm not a prophet, but this may cause your impeachment. But going forward, ensure when the dust settles, ensure you go, unite those two families, bring them back where they were, and ensure you return that money for your.
Mr. Speaker, I cannot overstate the solemnness I feel as I prepare to cast my vote on behalf of the people of Nyamira. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've gone through a lot of reflection and second guessing, but I've made the decision, Mr. Speaker, that tonight I stand with the boy child of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Tonight, Mr. Speaker, the one vote that I carry from the county of Nyamira, Mr. Speaker, will be to sympathize with a boy child who has had the misfortune of losing his mother, but who has also been subjected to an episode where he has been disowned by his father in the view of all Kenyans. Tonight, Mr. Speaker, I cast my vote in support, understanding with the many youths who are jobless, but who may never get their job because they are being asked to pay a bribe. Mr. Speaker, tonight, I will cast my vote with passion, reason, and without fear, while knowing, Mr. Speaker, that the Constitution that we enacted as the people of Kenya wants Kenyans of integrity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, I hope that the decision that this Senate is going to take will be a moment of reflection for two Kenyans, Mr. Robert Monda, the governor of Kisii, and Joseph Misati, the father of Dennis Misati. As you go back to the hills of Gusii Nation, take a reflection that family is more important than the positions that we hold in this republic. I close my submissions.
Senator Wafula.
Mheshimiwa Spika, nashukuru sana kwa nafasi hii. Ninapotazama mbele yangu, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni Wakenya ambao wanatutazama, vijana ambao kwa siku nyingi wamekuwa wanatafuta ajira, na wao, nikizungumza na maseneta wenzangu, vijana wengi huja katika maeneo yetu ya makazi na ofisi kutafuta kazi. Lile ambalo naibu wa gavana amepitia leo ni kwamba baba aliambatana na mwanawe kutafuta kazi. Tunapopiga kura leo na Wakenya wanapotutazama, hizi ndizo changamoto viongozi hupitia kuwatafutia kazi. Kuna wale viongozi ambao ni fisi wamevaa ngozi za kondoo, na kuna wale viongozi ambao hufanya kazi. Mheshimiwa Spika, yale ambayo pia nimeona hapa, Mheshimiwa Spika, japo kuna wale watapona kwamba naibu gavana alitoa shilingi 1,100, lakini wale tunajua siasa za kaunti, Mheshimiwa Spika, baadhi ya viongozi hupata asilimia fulani wa mgao wa hongo zinazotoka, na naomba idara za serikali ziwachunguze wale ambao huenda wataepuka. Huenda walirudisha pesa hizi kwa sababu kitita hakikuja jinsi walivyokubaliana. Sasa lazima baada ya hapa tuamulike hao watu. huenda wanaponyoka, lakini lazima tuwanase. Mheshimiwa Spika, kaunti zetu zinatokota na ufisadi. Nimeona pale ma MCA wakilalamika walinyolewa, ni sawa. Nimeona baadhi ya viongozi wale wa ulinda usalama katika kaunti kwamba walichukuliwa kufanya kazi, ni sawa. Lakini kama jumba la Senate lazima tuwaendee hao majamaa, kwa sababu makachero wa kaunti hawezi kuwa walifanya kazi kupitia Roho Mtakatifu. Haiwezekani, lazima walitumwa, na kama si naibu wa gavana kuna mtu aliwatuma, lazima wakamatwe. So Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa niaba ya vijana wa nchi ya Kenya, wana haki ya kazi, wana haki ya mshahara, wana haki ya kuoa mabibi wazuri, kuzaa watoto wengi. Ni haki ya serikali kuhakikisha. Mimi ni mfuasi wa Solomoni, Mheshimiwa Spika. Leo kura itakayopigwa ni kutetea ugatuzi, kutetea yeyote ambaye anatafuta ajira popote Kenya hii. Na vile vile, Mheshimiwa Spika, siasa imejadiliwa. Lazima tutaangalia mustakabali wa magavana na manaibu wao. Isiwe kwamba
Senator Ali Roba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As the charges were read in this House by yourself, Mr. Speaker, the last 2 days I was extremely eager to get to find out the answers to the question of the exchange of money, 800,000, between the governor and Joseph Musati and Dennis Makoya Musati. Because the substance of this case is that issue. And I've listened to Joseph Musati, a witness presented by the deputy governor, ridicule this House by circumnavigating direct questions that could have been simply answered by factual information. I wanted to find out how coincidental is it that on these fateful 2 days, Mr. Joseph Musati sent some money to the deputy governor, and some money was sent to Dennis Makoya to send the same money to the deputy governor. And then the deputy governor, he said, incidentally, by accident, sent 100,000 to the employing agency, Lucy Wahito. And then in the whole process that has taken shape and the evidence that was, presented before this House, I was extremely desperate as we the Senate to say letting a deputy governor go should not be an easy thing. I wanted to really find out the defense that should be put across with evidence of the coincidental nature of all these things taking shape. But I didn't find any answers to that question. And for the protection of what has happened, of a father who allegedly was trying to help a child get a job, but turns up to be a witness against the same child, I really want to persuade this Senate to send the deputy governor home. In the interest of protecting the youth, I've been a governor for 10 years and never, ever allowed my county public service board to take 10 shillings to employ anybody. Now, for 800,000 shillings to change hands for a small position. And then the answers that were supposed to be given was a ridicule to the House of trying to criminalize the young man whose desperate position has pushed him to the level.
Senator Richard Onyonka.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am standing here as the, if we were in another jurisdiction, I would be the standing senator. the prosecuting senator. Mr. Speaker, as the senator of Kisii County, this is a very, very deep, sad day for me. I have constantly raised issues about the governance issues in Kisii. I have frequently engaged church leaders. I have talked both with Dr. Monda and Governor Arati. These two gentlemen, it is me who looked for them and told them we can go and win an election. After that, things didn't work well. The issues you see in this house are a consequence of the failure of Kisii County. This matter would never have come here. As a person from the Kisii community, I feel completely humiliated that my people can come here as families and fight over bribes and fight over cutting of trees. When my county has got 16 billion shillings every year, and my recurrent expenditure is at 7%, and my development expenditure is at 3%. Those are the issues that we have. I have constantly talked with Governor Arati. We were actually beginning to talk and agree how we can consult each other. One of the things I'd asked him to do is make a recommendation so that Dr. Monda cannot be impeached. Because at the end of this, you don't solve this problem unless we look for a way on how we can solve the problem. Dr. Monda was with me in this house, and Arati was in this house with me. I feel really let down. To my sister from Kisii, look at your machine down there. It has 3 buttons. What does it say? One, it says yes, and the other one says no. The third one says abstain. There's a reason why that has been put there. So on this vote, I will abstain. Thank you.
At this juncture, I'll call upon the mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I reply.
Now, honorable senators, before we move to take the vote, I will give an opportunity to the Deputy Governor so that he can make his final remarks to the Senate. Deputy Governor, you have 10 minutes. You may elect to use them, or you may sit and allow the Senate to proceed to vote.
In concurrence with what my Senator of Kisii, the Honorable Senator Onyonga, that we have gone through challenges in Kisii, Mr. Speaker, and prompting my being presented here for impeachment. Mr. Speaker, as the House makes a determination, I will repeat what I said earlier, that for the kind of scenery that this House was put through yesterday and today, as a person, I am embarrassed and utterly unhappy about the situation that we are in. Coming to the House, Mr. Speaker, to discuss issues of my own family. I'm not born alone, Mr. Speaker. I'm born among many brothers, and my father is alive. The scenario you were taken through yesterday by my second follower brother is simply a reflection of what is transpiring in the family, and it all emanates from the politics we are all in. That after the elections of last year but one, the end of the elections did not end in the family. We had to be split into two groups, one that supported my candidature and the other that did not. And so I've stood before you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Senators, that what you've been taken through is only a reflection of what is happening back out there. What you have seen the family of Mr. Misati go through, and I want to make it clear here, Mr. Speaker, is associated with the same split in my family along political lines and the way we are divided. And so that did not come out here in our evidence, but it is the scenario, and I want to make it clear as you move to the next level. I've said it's an embarrassment as a member of parliament in the 10th parliament also, that I'm here this particular time on a matter that I'll still call a fabrication to settle political scores of the past. Mr. Speaker, I have been here as a member of this parliament and currently as the governor of Kisii. Mr. Speaker, I am known by many people of the Kisii County, Gusii, and the rest of the country that my character, my behavior will not be of the level that has been brought to this Senate. The effort that has been put within very few days, Mr. Speaker, that this impeachment comes to this level. There has been a back and forth effort that has also looped in the senator of Kisii, the religious organizations and the bishops, pastors. And Mr. Speaker, this did not see the light of the day. I want to say, honorable senators, Mr. Speaker, that as I wind up, I've heard your comments, honorable senators, and I'll do my effort to talk to the families that are affected, despite the fact or the outcome of the decision of this House. Talk to them and see what becomes of it. Mr. Speaker, I do not want to go beyond there. I want to thank you for granting us a chance to present our case before you. And where those of us, including myself as the accused, have fallen below the expectation of this country, I want to say to this House, the Senate, I tender my apologies for this scenario that we have gone through in this House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I close, as a Christian, I also pray to my God where I've wronged anyone and all those that have wronged in the line of duty. Mr. Speaker, I'll tender my regrets and prayers to my God to see me come out of this kind of picture. As I get old, my effort was that as I go to the Kisii County government, Mr. Speaker, I get to a level of service to the Kisii people where my legacy as we head to retirement from politics will leave me with a tag that will be above reproach. I want to leave it there, thanking you, Mr. Speaker, the Senate, honorable senators, and everyone who has been in this, without leaving behind the councils, team of councils who have stood with me and those who stood with the county government, county assembly of Kisii, and everyone who has given us support in this house, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Now, honorable senators, I will proceed to guide you on the procedure by which the vote on this motion shall be undertaken. Number one, pursuant to Article 123 of the Constitution and Standing Order 85 of the Senate Standing Orders, the voting on this motion shall be by delegation. Two, we shall vote by electronic voting, but in addition, I shall allow senators who attend in the session virtually also to vote, but their vote shall be by voice. Third, we shall have a separate vote for each of the 4 charges. At this juncture, therefore, honorable senators, I will direct that the division bell be rung for 5 minutes. The chair has directed 5 minutes. Honorable Senators, kindly take your seats. Order, Honorable Senators. Senator Chimera, Senator Osotsi. Senator Kajwang, can you disperse your team so that every one of you takes their seat? Order, Honorable Senators, kindly let us take our seats. Majority Leader, take your seat. Senator for Kiambu. Now, Honorable Senators, I will now proceed to put, before I put the question, I will direct that the Sergeant at Arms proceed to close the doors and draw the bar. Now, Honorable Senators, I will proceed to put the question, which is that whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, on Thursday, the 29th of February 2024, the Kisii County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. And further, whereas by a letter dated the 1st of March 2024 and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Saturday, 2nd March 2024, the Speaker of the Kisii County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the County Assembly. Further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80 of the Senate heard the County Assembly on the grounds for the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. And further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order number 80, the Senate also had the Honorable Dr. Robert Monda on the grounds for his proposed removal from office by impeachment as the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. Now, therefore, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80, the Senate resolved to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, on the following charges. Charge 1, gross violation of the Constitution or any other law. Charge number 2, abuse of office. Charge number 3, gross misconduct. And charge number 4, crimes under national law. I want to remind honorable senators that there shall be a separate vote for each charge. So you're going to vote 4 times. Our voting is going to be electronically. So at this juncture, I will ask honorable senators to log out. Log out by pulling out all your cards from the delegate units. And Sergeant at Arms, kindly go round. And pick the cards remaining in the delegate units. Sergeant at Arms. If you're done with that exercise, kindly let me know. Senator Karungo, you're out of order. And if you insist, the consequences will naturally flow. Honorable Senators, you may now log back. You may now log back and vote on charge 1, which is gross violation of the Constitution or any other law. You may now proceed to vote on that particular charge. Clerk, do we have the honorable senators who had expressed their desire to vote online? There being no senator online for purposes of voting on account of charge 1, we can now proceed to verify the vote on account of charge 1. Honorable senators, will move to the second vote, which is on charge number 2, abuse of office. You may proceed to vote. Clerk, do we have any senator wishing to vote online? We don't have. Then proceed to verify the results on charge number 2. Now, honorable senators will take the third vote. That is on charge number 3, gross misconduct. Honorable senators, proceed to vote. Clerk, is there any senator who's expressed their desire to vote online? Proceed to verify the results. Honorable senators will now take the final vote, the fourth charge, crimes under national law. Clerk, is there a senator who's expressed the desire to vote online on this charge? Then proceed to verify the results. Order, honorable senators. Senator Cherangay, take your seat, please. Now, honorable senators, the result of the vote on the impeachment motion on Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, is as follows. Charge number 1, gross violation of the Constitution and any other law. The ayes, 39. The nays, 3. Abstention, 1. So the ayes have it. Charge number 2, abuse of office. The ayes, 39. Nays, 3. Abstention, 1. Again, the ayes have it. Charge number 3, gross misconduct. The ayes, 35. Nays, 7. Abstention, 1. The ayes have it. Charge number 4, crimes under national law. The ayes are 32. Nays at 10, abstention at 1. So ayes have it. Now, honorable senators, Section 33(7) of the County Governments Act provide as follows. If a majority of all the members of the Senate vote to uphold an impeachment charge, the Deputy Governor shall cease to hold office. Honorable senators, the result of the divisions indicate that the Senate has upheld the following impeachment charges. Charge number 1, gross violation of the Constitution and any other law. Charge number 2, abuse of office. Charge number 3, gross misconduct. And charge number 4, crimes under national law. Now, honorable senators, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33(7) of the County Governments Act, and the Standing Order 86 of the Senate Standing Orders, the Senate has resolved to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, and the Deputy Governor therefore ceases to hold office forthwith. I thank you. You may, Sergeant at Arms, you may now proceed to withdraw the bar and open the doors. And honorable senators, kindly be upstanding. Honorable senators, it is now midnight. And having concluded business listed in the order paper of the day, the Senate therefore stands adjourned until Tuesday, the 19th of March, 2024 at 2:30 p.m. I thank you, honorable senators.
That marks the end of the impeachment hearing by the Senate against the impeachment of Kisii Deputy Governor Dr. Robert Monda, where the Senate has upheld the impeachment of the Kisii Deputy Governor. All the 4 grounds for impeachment have been substantiated. And now what that means is that the office of the Deputy Governor in Kisii County is vacant. What happens after this particular impeachment that has been upheld by the Senate? The governor for Kisii County will nominate a deputy within the next 14 days, and the members of the county assembly will then vote on whether to approve or reject the nomination of the nominee within the next 60 days. That is what has transpired for the better part of Wednesday and Thursday. The Senate has, so to speak, upheld the impeachment charges leveled against embattled Kisii Deputy Governor Dr. Robert Monda. We say thank you very much for watching, and on behalf of the technical crew as well as the directors that made this production possible, we say thank you so much and keep watching Senate TV.